Hari Om. Good morning, children. Have a nice day. Wish you all the best. Today we are in third unit, Supplementary, the story of Mulan. Now let us take it as a continuity of that poem here. I am every woman, and the entire unit deals with the empowering women only. We had seen empowering women navigating the world, and then we had I am every woman, and the very first line, she is beauty in it. We are talking about the women empowerment. So this is one such a story about a Chinese maiden here, and here we are talking about the empowering women, the qualities of the empowering women. She is beauty in it. Beauty is not a word that is confined to the physical charm alone. It also talks about the beauty inside. Beauty in it, it's an inborn quality, inborn trait, and we had learned from the poem that she is power, she is a symbol of power, she is symbol of strength and perseverance and whatnot. This is one such story. We are talking about a courageous maiden here who fights for her country there. It shows her patriotism towards her country. That is the first reason. Second one, that she wants to help out her father, who was a wizened man and unable to encounter any enemies deed there at the war, and in order to support her little brother. So this is a story here, and the story portrays the legendary Chinese war Hua Mulan, and is mostly based on the information of her from the poem The Ballad of Mulan. This restating of the old Chinese folktale is about the story of the young Chinese maiden who learns that her wizened old and frail father is to be called up into the army in order to fight the invading Huns by the Chinese emperor. Hope you understand the story here. China was invaded by the Huns there, and the governor, the emperor, wants at least one member from each family to join the army. And thereafter, in her family, she had an old father, a little brother, and her father was so weak that she would not allow her father to take part in the army, and she herself wanted to take place in the army and to fight against. Okay, let us go through the main characters. We have Mulan, a teenage girl, Mulan's father, an old man, and Mulan's brother, a child. Okay, so the previous slide, we learned that the emperor wanted at least one member from each family to join the army there, and her family was a very small family that contained an old man, her father, and a child, Mulan's brother. And you see the picture of Mulan. Usually the female are not allowed to join the army, but she wants to help her father out, and in no time she takes a decision and cuts her hair and disguises herself as a boy, and she joins the army. That we'll just see later. Now let us go through the points to summarize the lesson. It's a very short story actually, but conveying the moral, the courageous, the daring entry of her into the army and fighting for the sake of her country there. As the entire unit deals with the women empowerment, we are just talking about the courageous maiden here. As I already told you, beauty is not an external factor. It talks about the qualities that are inborn, innate. And here this is a story about Mulan, a teenage girl who saved China. Once there was a war in China, and the emperor announces that one man from each family should join the army. Mulan heard this news when she was just washing the clothes there, and thereafter she wants to help her father out. She could understand her father was getting old and he was so weak that he could not encounter his enemies there. He had no power of endurement towards his enemy, and therefore she wanted to help her. And moreover, her brother was a very little child there, and she dressed herself as a man and joined the army, as her father was old and her brother was a child there. Before that, you'll have to understand she was well trained by her father in order for self-protection, defense. Her father had taught her a sword fight and kung fu, and she excelled in that art of war. I think she was very good at and skilled at those skills there, and therefore she immediately got ready and joined the army in spite of her father's warning to her. In the army, she proved to be brave soldier. She fought against the enemies so well that the emperor appointed her as a chief for a group of men, and she was doing her part so well that she became the general of the army too. You can just see the picture given there. It's, as I already told you, it's a very small story but with a very great moral. First of all, it talks about the patriotic feel of a girl there and the daring entry of her into the army, and this is because she had been trained by her father in the art of sword fight and kung fu, that she readily takes up the job there. She quickly went in, cut her hair, wore her father's robe and disguised herself as a man, and she joined the army. She seemed so brave and so active that she became the soldier of a group of people, the chief, and then later on she became the general of the army. One day a bad fever swept the army. Mulan was also affected by this fever. Okay, one day there was an epidemic of, as we call this, a pandemic of corona. There I think they had their bad fever that spread to the entire camp there, and Mulan was also affected by this fever. Until then, no one knew that she had disguised herself as a man. When the doctor examined her, everyone came to know that she was a woman. Until then, she had hidden the message that she was a female there, and she did not reveal it to anyone. So because of this bad fever that swept the army, the doctor who examined her revealed the secret that she was a woman. The soldiers became angry and shouted that she should be punished. At the same time, a few protested that she was very brave enough, and because of her that they could win the battle there. Okay, now the emperor tries to understand the situation, and even though there were a group of soldiers who were protesting her headship, she was not bothered, and the emperor also did not pay heed to the words of the group there, because he had understood the plan, the sketch played by her, the strategy played by her during the war, and how she saved China there. Just then a battle came. There was a surprise attack, and a soldier just came running, carrying a message of this surprise attack. Even then, without a second thought, immediately she took up, and then she started ordering her soldiers with a good plan and of how to attack the enemy there. Under her guidance and support, the enemy just took up their positions, and they even won the battle. Thus she saved China, and everyone cheered her. Not only the people there, even the emperor was glad and gifted her with 6 fine horses and 6 fine swords there. He also forced her to remain there as her legal advisor, as a royal advisor, but she would not take up the post. She said that she wants to reunite with her family at the village to take care of her old father, wizened father, a frail, weak father, and the little brother. Okay, this is a concept of the story. As I already told you, the unit deals with the empowering women here we talks about. So this is not only a problem to India. So throughout the world we have women showcasing their qualities there, And we learn through this story how Mulan, a young girl, plays a role of the general in the army, and how she saves China, and how she was awarded and rewarded both by the people as well as the emperor himself. Okay, once again, let us recall the story of Mulan here, and let us try to understand. Here, this is Mulan. The main characters are Mulan, a teenage girl, and this is a China-based story. You have Mulan's father, who was an old man and who had taught Mulan to defend herself with the art of kung fu and the sword fight. And Mulan had a brother who was a child. There you see the pic of Mulan here. And once the Huns invaded China, and the emperor ordered that every member, at least one member, should join the family. Every member in a family should join the army. And since there were only 3 members in the family, and the father was old and the brother was too little, she decided to join the army. She heard this news when she was just washing the clothes. In no time, she just went in. She cut her hair, she wore the robes of her father, and she just got ready to join the army. Even when her father just stopped her not to join, she said that he had taught her to fight and she knows how to carry herself. Even then, her father told, it seems, that it did not mean that he taught her kung fu and sword fight only to defend herself and not to take part in the enemy. And moreover, females were not allowed to take part in the army there, and therefore he said that he would take he would like to play his part as a soldier in the army. But immediately she took a strong decision that she disguised herself and she joined the army there. In the army, she fought so well. She was a very brave soldier. Initially, she was appointed as the head of a very few soldiers there, and as her plan and strategy worked out well, and as the Chinese, with her support, went on well with the team spirit and all that, the emperor made her as the general of the army. So everything went on well until one day when a bad fever swept the army. The entire place was affected, and Mulan was also affected by this fever. Until then, no one knew that she was a female disguised as male there. And when a bad fever swept the army, the doctors examined her, and one of the doctors revealed the secret that she was a woman. When the people and the soldiers came to know that she was a woman, they started shouting at her and shouted that she should be punished. Usually there will be a group of people who are good enough, who have this understanding and maturity and all that. They protested against the people who are shouting, and they just protested in favor of Mulan, and even told that they would like to work under her headship there. Just then you had a soldier running to the battlefield, bringing a news about the surprise attack. And then immediately, without a second thought, she made herself, with a good plan, she attacked the enemy and won the battle. The whole city was so happy that she had saved China. Everyone cheered her. Even the people who shouted and protested that she should be pushed out of the army now supported her, and everyone cheered her. The emperor was also glad and gifted her with 6 fine horses and 6 fine swords. Not only that, he also forced her to be his royal advisor, but she was not ready to accept the post, as she wanted to take care of her sick father and her little brother, and she just went away to reunite with her family. Thus ends the story. You can just see the picture. She just returns to her village to take care of her father and her little brother. And with this, we wind up with the third unit, children. We have learned 3 units so far. The third unit, we have seen the empowering women navigating the world, and in 254 days they just came around the world all alone. The crew with the 6 members, how they just went around the world after undergoing a serious training, and then how they succeeded in their mission. This paves way for the women to take part and to avail the opportunity that are provided with for them. Okay, this is inspiring and motivating that the crew has written a number of articles and stories of how to carry themselves and to avail the opportunity. And that was based on a Make in India initiative. So we have already seen that is what we are doing now, Digital India. After the Modi's headship, we are just trying to grow India, and this is one of the schemes that the women have proved themselves here. And second, we are talking about the poem I Am Every Woman, and we are talking about the innate traits of the woman here, and they are beauty innate, and woman is a symbol of power, woman is a symbol of strength, and she says that perseverance is the key to achieve anything. Okay, and with this quality, I think you can achieve whatever you want. And through this supplementary, we have learned that we are given with enough opportunity, and it is up to us to choose of who we want to be, what we want to be, and how we want to be. Okay, as I already told you, this is a time for you to set your career, children, and every unit inspires you and insists you to develop such qualities in you, so that you will aim big and you will achieve big, not for your sake, it's for the society's sake. So that is what we have learned. It should be constructive. Okay, so it's not that selfish. We are talking about the safety of the entire society, in which you play a part, and the part played by you will have to be an amazing part that everyone leads a very happy and a progressive life here. So with this, we come to the end of the third unit. Later we will be meeting you with the fourth unit. Until then, it is thank you, children. Take care. God bless you. Thank you once again.